Hi, I'm Kirby Allison, and what better way to reflect on the art of craftsmanship than over a leisurely lunch and a glass of exquisite wine? We're here in New York City, a cultural mecca that bridges the old world with the new. Joining me is Tommaso Melani from Stefano Bemer. We'll discuss the present and the future of Italian craftsmanship, especially as it finds a new home here in America. So sit back and join us for a candid conversation that promises to be both enlightening and enjoyable.
Beautiful restaurant.
Kirby, John met
Very nice
Kirby.
to meet you.
Thank you for having
Thank you for coming in. Thank you.
I'm glad you get to meet John because it's a good friend. First of all, it's a very stylish American gentleman.
Thanks to you.
Yeah, is this Stefano Bemer?
It is.
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
Completely. But also is an American that really understood how to render the flair of La Dolce Vita, which is also the name of his company, but into an American thing. Didn't mock any Italian, didn't bring anything that was Italian to New York. Mm-hmm. He gave an interpretation and he made it perfectly fine. So when I crave a Negroni, and we'll have the pasta, we need to try the pasta pomodoro tonight, I come at Scarpetta because this is a spot that has the taste of Italy and the flair of Dolce Vita, but it's a New York entity, and it's done perfectly well.
Yeah. That's interesting. So, I mean, because you make a great point of, being authentic without trying to rip something off, right? So, as someone that's opening a New York Italian restaurant, how do you draw Italian inspiration without feeling as though you're inauthentically trying to be something you're not? Because you're not in Florence. You're in New York, and Stefano Bemer here in New York is not in Florence, it's here.
I always say Scarpetta is a New York restaurant with Italian ingredients.
Okay.
Which is certainly something I can personally relate to, but this is the spirit of New York City, and it's a New York vibe and atmosphere and a New York approach to service with an authentic referential gesture towards the Italian kitchen and cuisine. Okay. And therefore it's very authentically, this is New York first, and as Tommaso accurately states, taking all the cues of the things that we love about Italy, but doing them in a New York flair.
Yeah.
With respect.
And where does one see that? I mean, where is it, squarely kind of New York, and then where is it squarely Italian? And then
first and
where's
foremost,
the middle?
the beauty of the New York restaurant is right here, at the bar.
Yeah.
When I think the Italian offering is so fantastic. The culinary arts of Italy are the best in the world. But you only in New York do you really walk into that bustling bar and saddle on up to the bar and have a proper cocktail at the bar before going on to a more
with a
formable
beautiful bar
dine.
like this. I mean, this is quintessentially New York, right?
That's New York, through and through. Always has been since Delmonico in the 1800s.
And then the food then being authentically inspired, but is that also, blending or being updated based off of the preferences
we
of...
have such a strong Italian-American cultural heritage here, and then of course there's the Italian, and I think that what we've always tried to do here is take what we find inspiration in Italy, and then do it here respectfully on our own terms. So as you know, Italy is a regional cuisine. Yeah. And here we have stromboli from Sicily with the bread, and then the antipasto, the first thing is a polenta from all the way in the north, right? Yeah. So we're not restricted to any of the regional norms per se of Italy, and we certainly don't buy a bite of any of the traditional Italian-American themes. It's just kind of taking, again, in a respectful fashion, all that we love about the Italian kitchen and bringing it to a New York City atmosphere.
Yeah. Well, I have to ask him, is there salt in the bread here?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Florence,
With all due respect to all of the Tuscan delicacies around the world, the bread is not one that I put at the top of the list.
fair enough. Florence.
Well, speaking of these very strict regional dialects that you have all across Italy, not just in the food, but in fashion, I mean, one of the great things, I guess, taking this inspiration abroad is the fact that you're not restricted by those boundaries. And I mean, we see that in some ways in your tailoring and shoemaking as well.
When you walk in the store here in New York, you don't feel like you're walking in San Nicolò in Florence. There's no craftsman at work, there's no hanging glass, there's no dust. And I didn't want to render that. I mean, New York, this is probably one of our biggest markets. I needed to pay homage to New York and create something that is my vision of a New York clothing store.
Yeah.
Elegant and well, I want to say sophisticated, but relaxed, and Italian, but not in an obvious way.
Yeah.
That authentic in its own way, as even the way I dress changes if I'm here or in Florence.
Yeah.
You can't do the same thing everywhere, and think that it's okay. You need to blend in. You need to connect with the city. And New York, it's a different beast.
Yeah.
You can be an Italian. I'm labeled as Italian when I walk in the street.
You're pretty Italian, Tommaso.
They ask me,
I mean,
and yet I'm not.
they see it just in the way you walk.
Maybe I talk too much with my hands. That's the point. But when I'm in Florence, my aesthetic is definitely Italian. Here, I think I'm trying to somehow make steps towards the New York style.
You said it very well. It's about paying homage.
Yeah.
Right? Whether a restaurant, whether in fashion, every aspect of it, the difference between inauthentically copying something or cultural misappropriation and this respectful gesture, it's all about paying homage.
Yeah. Do you feel as though you need to have a greater kind of understanding and feeling for the essence of Italian culture in order to do that in an authentic way versus doing it as opposed to just copying something, as a facsimile?
Absolutely.
100%. Italy's my grandfather was a stern Italian by all the rules. Italy is a country of rules. And I think that, this age-old cliche, if you have to know the rules in order to break them, you have to appreciate and understand it, and you have that innately. That's studied, it's learned through cultural experience. And only once you truly get it, then you can tweak it to make it yours.
Yeah. And John, you're American, right? You
Yeah.
grew up here. I mean, where was it? I mean, at what point did you feel you were able to reach the point where you understood and were able to connect with kind of the passion and the heart of Italian cuisine?
My grandfather he immigrated to the States when he was mid-50s, so I think he never became an Italian American. He was very much Italian. He loved New York City, but it was always, this is the Italian rules, which included putting a tie on Sunday, because as he said, you never know who you see in the elevator on Sunday. and there was always this definitive understanding of this is an Italian American culture, this is an Italian culture, and here's New York City.
Yeah.
I love all three. And I've always been able to live in and observe and enjoy all three of those worlds. And then with that understanding and enjoyment, the paying homage comes naturally.
Yeah.
Because it's all with great reverence.
Yeah.
I must say, he also dug quite a bit. He has friends from north to south in Italy, and he creates strong connections. I've known him for 9 years now. Time flies. 9 years, and I see his knowledge about Italy developing, and it reflects in what he does in his business. It's great. I find it fascinating that I've been able to witness this in real life.
Yeah. So whenever you come here, Tommaso, I mean, it's not a Florentinian restaurant. Like, it's not Tuscan, right? It's, I guess, kind of a blend of the region. How is it? I mean, what are your favorite dishes, and what is it that to you speaks to how you grew up and those childhood memories, and then where is it that you're seeing kind of the broader brushstrokes of Italy?
I come here for two different occasions normally. It's a place where, first of all, I feel at home. So I come here. Oh, thank you, Eric. I need one desperately. Cheers. Salute. Salute. Cheers. So, two different occasions and three different reasons. I come because John made sure that I am welcome as if it was my own place. He's also kind of OCD on it. So he wants things done his way, and so he does it extremely well.
Secret OCD.
Yeah,
Secret OCD.
The three of us,
Well
and a
concealed.
few 100,000 watching. But it's
Yeah, that's right. You're in good company.
Then I have two ways of coming in. One, when I need to socialize, and I like the vibe. I love the cocktails. It's a perfect, relaxed, higher end New York City, and I love to have my guests experience this vibe. And then I come with friends, Italian friends, mostly Neapolitan friends.
Okay.
And
Because of the bar again?
no, actually, strangely, because of the food. It all started, because of the friendship, but the food, we come for the pasta al pomodoro. And if Italians endorse the pasta al pomodoro in Italian-inspired restaurant in New York City, it better be good. I was in his restaurant in Rome not long ago, and the chef came out knowing that I'm friends and I come here very often. And he asked me, so I go, what's better, to say the New York or the Rome version of the pasta pomodoro? And
Dangerous question.
And the original one, it's hard to beat. So if as an Italian,
More perplexing is that Tokyo is the best one.
Really?
yeah, he told me so.
By
so,
far.
So that's my next stop probably. But again, it's done so and I think consistently well that when long day, I want a drink and some spaghetti. This is a perfect stop.
Yeah, and that is challenging, is doing something consistently well, right? I would imagine you see that with the shoemaking and the tailoring, which are just like food with organic products, that to deliver that consistently is probably easier said than done.
But that's key.
There's a passionate Italian phrase, piccole cose fatte bene, little things done well. And it's such a simple adage, but really that's whether, I don't mean to speak on Tommaso's behalf or his industry, but what I so respect about his artisans, about our chefs, it's that everyday passionate care and intention to the craft.
Yeah.
And those little things add up to a superior product.
So what are the hallmarks of your Italian style? I mean, whenever you look to the way that, you dress, right? I mean, neither of you are wearing ties, right? I mean, where is it that you see kind of those echoes of Italian influence integrated in the way that you live here in New York?
I think that the two words that say it all is effortless elegance.
Yeah.
That's the key. That's the charm. That's the dolce vita. This idea of that it's a natural elegance. It's not contrived. It's not affected. Everyone uses the sprezzatura word. I think that's a little excessive. It's just everyday charm.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that for me, this notion of la dolce vita, it's not the fancy life.
Yeah.
It's the good life.
The good life.
Right? And it's the reality that every day if I had my druthers, I would wear a white shirt and a navy blazer every single day.
Well, this is what Tommaso made.
Unfortunate reason, I'll try to modify occasionally, but at the end of the day, this is how I feel my best.
Yeah. Well, and I guess one of the great hallmarks of Italian cuisine is its focus on simple ingredients, right? It's not French food that is, haute cuisine and very complicated. Italian cooking is in many ways home cooking, in that it is simple and elegant. And really Italian style and the Italian tradition of dressing well, like what you just said, really is focusing on those same kind of foundational, simple elements. A beautiful shirt, a nice jacket. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be loud.
It's honest.
And it's, therein lies I guess in its simplicity lies its elegance.
That's exactly right.
Absolutely.
Which in many ways, by virtue, is the definition of real elegance. That restraint.
But this is that like
simplicity.
Elegance without trying too hard.
That's the whole thing.
Focusing on the fundamentals, the foundationals items.
I always say that my aesthetic, my code for elegance is my grandfather. So he was definitely not a fancy man. He was always in a suit. His shoes were always perfectly polished. He was shaved twice a day to present himself in the best possible way. But he had it was so natural and spontaneous that you wouldn't think he was trying. That's what he was, authentic, honest. That's it. And when I wear a tie, that I love wearing a tie, but I don't feel myself. So my honest self doesn't wear a tie.
I mean, one of the things we were talking about is that, the Italian aesthetic is not casual, it is relaxed.
Relaxed.
And there's a different ethos there, right? I mean, casual in some ways to me echoes the idea of sloppiness. Like, I'm casual, I just don't care. But relaxed, you can still have an intentionality behind what it is you're doing.
When you go to a formal fine dining, tasting-centric restaurant, maybe you go once a year on a special occasion. You don't go so frequently every day. Just like the structured jacket, what I love about this is almost like wearing a shirt. I feel completely at ease in this.
You're comfortable.
Completely.
Yeah.
Relaxed in a suit is a big demonstration of personality.
Yeah.
So that's what I
Confidence.
want to accomplish in what we do. Is give you a tool to be yourself at your best without feeling you're trying.
Yeah. Well, it's another thing that, we often speak about on the channel is that if your tailored clothing is not the most comfortable clothing you're wearing, It's not because tailored clothing can't be comfortable. It's because the tailored clothing you're wearing wasn't made well or doesn't fit. And being comfortable is what allows one to relax.
Absolutely. And be your best. So in Italy, back in the day, for the debut, you're turning 18, you would normally throw a big party, black tie.
Yeah.
I do remember my first black tie party, and it was definitely not at ease, right?
Yeah.
That feeling, if I turn it to today, I'm absolutely comfortable in a black tie because I've done it enough, because I know the rules of engagement, and because in the meantime, I could build something that my relaxed self is this.
Yeah.
Life is a journey.
Yeah.
I wish everyone had the same curiosity I had, John has, you have, about learning those rules, bending them a bit, making them theirs, and become a unique interpretation of it.
Yeah. So someone that's looking to really, fully embrace the Italian elegance should first come here for lunch, eat some pasta, have a Negroni, and then go visit
And then
Tommaso.
go shopping after the Negroni. That's
But
key.
after the Negroni.
That sounds like a pretty good day.
That's good. And here it comes.
Wow.
All right, gentlemen.
Look at that.
So this is our
Kirby.
signature spaghetti tomato basil.
That smells delicious.
Buon appetito, gentlemen. I hope you enjoy.
John, thank you so much.
Nice to
thank
meet
you
you.
for
Thank you
having
very
us.
much. Enjoy.
Tommaso is the best of hosts.
I know the tricks.
That's right. Look at this. Beautifully
This
plated
is
up.
one of my favorite things. And I'm not a pasta guy. I'm a meat eater.
Really.
Trust me, it's mesmerizing.
And so what is, whenever you taste this,
It's the
how
tomato
How would you
sauce.
describe its
It's the
perfection?
tomato sauce. They've made it perfect.
That's amazing. Creamy,
Right? It's crazy.
perfectly al dente pasta,
Absolutely.
not too acidic. And it does have a delicacy to it. Like the tomato's not,
And you would think, right? I mean, typical Italian restaurant thing is, and it's not. Because if you look at the menu, there's food that's obviously more sophisticated, but the simple thing made extremely well, this is it. So you understand why, after work I come, I get a Negroni and a dish of pasta, and then I go home.
yeah. Well, this is the zenith. It's simple things done well.
The Dolce Vita in New York, it looks like this.
Well, to Italian quality craftsmanship and elegance, to La Dolce Vita, to a great Negroni and even better pasta, and to Stefano Bemer. Thank you.
Thank you.